I was a teenager, I had really bad asthma and allergies living in Texas, and so I tried everything and eventually tried a chiropractor there who did somewhat similar things to what Tammy does as far as looking at the emotional cause, emotional root of the problem. And it worked a little bit. It definitely was not as helpful as my experience with Tammy. I had been in a car accident when I was 16 and went to a different chiropractor that did sort of like your basic crack your neck, crack your back, and out the door you go. And that never did anything for me. It didn't really help. It might have alleviated the pain for a little while, but it always come back. So when I was about 21, I pinched a nerve in my lower back, and I had seen a chiropractor in Texas briefly, which just alleviated the pain for just long enough to be able to go on a holiday. But for the following, I'd say 8 years, I still constantly had lower back pain. I always knew where my lower back was. And then about 3 years ago, I picked up a 4-year-old, and I re-triggered that problem. I pinched that nerve again. So that's when I started coming to Tammy regularly. And after about, I'd say, 6 to 8 months of seeing Tammy, I no longer had any lower back pain, and to this day, I still don't even have lower back pain. Once in a while, if I pick up something incorrectly, it'll hurt for a bit, but my body has now been able to adjust and can fix those problems on its own now after seeing Tammy. And even after my lower back pain went away, I continued to see Tammy because I got so much out of our sessions, especially as far as like looking into the emotional cause of other things that were going on. We're now currently working on my allergies again, which aren't too bad here in the Bay Area, but it's something I've always wanted to get rid of. So I've still continued to see her even though my lower back pain is gone. When I started seeing her, at first, our treatments involved a little bit more adjusting of the body, and then it kind of tended to shift towards focusing on muscles. And sometimes she'll be working on parts of my body that have what I would think of as nothing to do with the pain, like maybe something in my legs when it was lower back pain. But the more I saw her, the more I realized how much those things were connected. And we'd often also look at the emotional root of what was going on with why I was having lower back pain. And through the treatment process, I was able to let go of a lot of the sort of emotional issues that were attached to that lower back pain. So there was an emotion attached with the lower back pain, and that had to do with me feeling powerless in my life and not standing up for myself in certain relationships. And during the session, we would talk about that, or Tammy would have me think about places where I didn't stand up for myself in my life, and as she worked on me, whether it was manipulating a muscle or something like that. And I could almost feel it sort of leaving my body. You can actually feel as if the emotion or the energy that's associated with whatever your problem is being released as she's working on that muscle. And it could be released in the form of crying or laughing or just a very painful feeling on that muscle whenever she's manipulating that muscle. And then she would have me think about that when I was icing later on. She often has us ice for about 20 minutes a day. And then whenever I was in a situation where I was feeling powerless, to remember to come back to that. And I think that definitely helped to alleviate the back pain as well. I had full faith in her, and I knew, and that's why I've recommended about 10 patients to her, and every single person I've recommended has continued to see her. When I explain Tammy to someone new, I usually say something like she's not your ordinary crack you and out the door kind of chiropractor, that she's going to make sure that you get a complete workover. She's going to look at you in a holistic way, and you will end up looking at the emotional cause of whatever problem it is that you're having. So if you're not prepared to deal with issues on that level, then I wouldn't suggest coming to her. But if you are somebody that wants to really work through it and actually have the pain go away for good, then I recommend her.